right. Thank you all. It looks like we have Jesse and Penny with us today, but we're very happy you two are able to take time and go through this overview of the family workshops. I think it will be very helpful. It might give you some ideas. It will definitely show you what resources Ready Rosie has to offer to support you, so you don't have to like think off the hip when you're trying to come up with ideas that you could incorporate into your family engagement. So I'm going to turn it over to Patty and let her go ahead and get started.
Thank you, Shauna. Good morning, Jesse and Penny. Again, thank you for joining us today. And today what we're going to do is we want to go over our family workshops within our platform within Ready Rosie, which you'll find under your resources. But before we begin, I'd like to just start a little conversation with just kind of thinking about, excuse me, thinking about a favorite workshop or training that you've been to as a participant, and what did you enjoy about it? Or what did the facilitator do that made it memorable? Feel free to unmute yourself since it's a small group this morning, or feel free to use the chat box as well.
I guess for me, it's always hard talking in these Zooms. I never want to talk over anybody. But for me, I guess when I'm a participant in a training or a workshop, I want the presenter, I want to feel the joy from the presenter, so to speak. I want to kind of believe what they're selling me, and I kind of want to feel that they believe, what they're selling me, if that kind of makes any sense.
Yeah, it sure does. It sure does. Thank you for sharing. Penny, any feedback? Okay, let's see. So I have here from Penny, she loves what she did and got us up and moving and hands-on activities. She showed the things in action and she gave personal stories. Yes, and I agree. I totally agree with both of you. I don't know, Shauna, if you have any feedback into your memories of maybe a favorite workshop or training that you were asked to participate in.
Actually, I was just in a 2-day facilitator training on Monday and Tuesday. So I learned some really neat tricks of the trade of the facilitator piece of it, which, sometimes like she explained, like when we're in meetings or in trainings or whatever, we see the 10%, right? What's being offered to us is the 10%, but what really goes around that is the 90%, the building frame, the walls and all that stuff that you don't necessarily see when you look at it environment of a place. So I got to really well-defined explanation of the 90%, and I enjoyed that. It was just good to connect the dots on a facilitation being well done.
Great, great. Well, I agree with everyone's comments today about what you've taken away from a favorite workshop. We know that a good workshop is always going to be relevant. It's going to be meaningful to the work that you're doing, as well as it really helps to have a well-organized training ready to go, as well as, I can't agree more with all of you, interactive, giving the ability for the audience to be able to hands-on, to ask questions, to be part of those discussions, as well as, just tapping into different types of models of learning with maybe perhaps providing visuals, or also being able to get up and just to be able to work with one another. And then most of all too, just having a respectful workshop of each other's times, and just ensuring that the subject at hand is being focused on. So within Ready Rosie, what we have workshops that are engaging, they're meaningful for families. There's opportunities for networking among one another as well. But what I'd like to do is I want to start with one of our modeled moment videos that we have here that do support our family workshops as well. And within our modeled moment videos, what you're going to see is just all around the Ready Rosie platform, as families are participating in workshops and gaining parenting skills, we see that research shows that students with engaged families, they earn higher grades, they enroll in higher level academic programs, are promoted on time and earn more credits, adapt to school and attend more regularly, have better social skills and behaviors, and of course go on to post-secondary opportunities. So within the Ready Rosie platform, as you probably know, our library extends from our Ready Baby videos all the way to elementary schools. But what I'd like to do is just start with this pre-K video here. And as we're watching this pre-K video, I want you to think about just some of the learning outcomes that are taking place within this activity.
Okay, go, Robbie. All the way up, all the way up. Oh, that's good. You're going fast, aren't you? Hey, Robbie, come here and look at this real quick. Walk down and look at this. What is that a picture of?
When I was going to my first Rangers game.
Your first Rangers game. Do you remember the story of when you went to the first Rangers game?
Yeah, it was like where I was in class and my teacher, Miss Harris, said that I was going out to eat lunch, but instead I was gonna go and watch the Rangers game with you, and I did not know that.
It was a surprise.
Big one.
So at the beginning of that story, I came and got you out of class. You didn't know I was picking you up. And in the middle, you had on your Ranger shirt and we were driving to the stadium and you made a guess about where we were going, right?
Right.
And then what happened at the end of that story?
We got to see the Rangers win.
Oh yeah, they did win. Do you happen to remember the score of that game or no?
3-1 probably.
Probably 3-1. Man, that was an exciting day, wasn't it? At the beginning, I picked you up and surprised you. In the middle, we drove and you figured out where we were going. And then at the end, the Rangers won the game. So a successful day, right?
Yeah.
What a great memory. You know what? You keep on playing and I'm going to keep on looking at pictures and start thinking about other stories about whenever you were young. Younger. Okay? Good job, babe. Go ahead.
So what was some of the learning that we saw taking place in this video? Anybody like to share? Feel free to use the chat box or unmute yourself. I see Penny sharing recalling and retelling a memory and special moment. Yes. Jessie?
I just go back to my the learning objectives from Teaching Strategies goal, that retelling of a different time or place.
Right.
And just using those beginning, middle, and end, just, those components of a story and moments of time.
Right. Yes. And, just as you're saying, you're exactly right. Language development, parts of a story, listening and speaking and, taking turns within all of the Ready Rosie family workshops that we have Ready Rosie videos that are embedded within the workshops to support each of the topics that is taking place. And so within your family workshops, what you're going to see is just numerous resources to support you with numerous topics as well. All of our family workshops have PowerPoints that are created in English and Spanish. They're very easy to follow. We have our facilitator's guide that walks step by step, slide by slide of how to introduce the workshop. We have workshops that support up to an hour long of content for families, but we also have workshops that support 10 minutes of content for families, knowing that sometimes you may not have that hour with families, but 10 minutes still to provide just some valuable parenting information. And then each of our family workshops has flyers, they have surveys, and other supporting documents as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to our main page where I can share with you the resources that we have available to you within all of the family workshops that you'll have. And this is a trick of finding the right view. I apologize. Let's see if I can get the right view here. There we go. All righty then. So here we are on the main Ready Rosie website here. And what you'll see is just by going to resources, you'll find a tab that has all of our family workshops and our Give Me 10s that are available to you. So you'll see here just various topics such as relationships matter, you can make a difference, families as partners. We've also just recently added some new workshops that support social emotional development with resiliency, raising strong children, fostering listening skills in your child, and nurturing resilient children. Now, all of these workshops that are designated in orange are designed to provide about an hour's worth of content could be stretched up to an hour and a half. But within each of the workshops, again, I'm going to go ahead and focus on our Words Matter workshop here. You'll see that we've got a facilitator's guide in English and Spanish. We've got our PowerPoint. We've got flyers to help to support announcing upcoming workshops. And the flyers are editable, where you can add your own date, your time and location, and if you would like an RSVP, as well as a facilitator's checklist that helps to guide you to prepare for the upcoming workshop. We've got pre and post surveys to help to gather that information of families' knowledge on the topic prior to the workshop and after the workshop. We also have an idea catcher for families to be able to capture just some of new ideas, new aha moments within the workshops. And then we've got an evaluation sheet as a facilitator, just to go back and evaluate how the activity went and support you with your next upcoming trainings. We also have a conversation starter question guide. And within this conversation starter question guide, what we've done is we've added questions to kind of kick off your family workshops. We know that sometimes family workshops can be a little intimidating with not really knowing what's to be expected, but you'll find just fun questions just to kind of start off the momentum with maybe, for example, one of the first questions we have on here is, if you could be a character out of a book, which character would you be? And that just kind of starts off the momentum with the family workshop not being so intimidating. But what I'd like to do is I want to take you a little bit further into the facilitator's guide. This one in particular, our Words Matter. I really like this workshop because it delves into not only providing families ideas of how to make a literacy-rich home, but the parent training also delves into talking about families, how children learn how to write. As a past preschool teacher, I know that families would come in at the beginning of the school year, and one of their goals was they wanted their child to be able to learn how to write their name before they entered kindergarten, which we knew that and explaining to families that, first of all, children need to learn more about fine motor skills and how to work those fine motor skills and different activities of how to do that. Well, within this workshop, not only do we provide information on building that literacy-rich home, but we also provide examples. So let me walk you through this facilitator's guide. So what you're going to see here is, first of all, you'll see an intended time frame. So for this one in particular, this is about an hour workshop. There's also learning outcomes. So you'll have those learning outcomes first and foremost of what your participants will walk away with. We also provide you the workshop format. So within the workshop format, it'll show you that there's a welcome and there's a warm up. And then it provides each of the segments within the workshop that we'll be reviewing. There's also materials. So you'll have your PowerPoint presentation and any materials that might be needed to support this workshop. So you'll see, such as maybe a sign-in sheet or name tags or flip chart paper. And then you also have your idea catchers. And here it says to have some books available to share as some examples to support this workshop. And then after every workshop, there's an opportunity for you to share any type of community resources that pertain to your community. So we allot time for that as well. So as we go on to the first slide here for this one in particular in Words Matter, you're going to see here that we provide the activity as well as any key points to introducing the activity. You'll see here within these slides, the welcome and warm up, we have recommended that it'll take about 15 minutes to introduce to families. But then you'll see here going on to slide 2, we go into providing you ideas of how to warm up families within the family workshop. The first question here is for families to take a moment to think about their own favorite story, their book or song from their childhood, who shared it with you and why did you love it? So within each of the slides, you'll have questions that you can ask families. And I'm sure if you've been to any trainings where you've asked this type of question, it really leads to really learning about rich customs that families have, or books or songs from their childhood as well. That just surely starts off just a great discussion on creating that literacy-rich home. Then we go into our objectives, and within the objectives, We also want to hear from families as to, for example, here one of the questions is, what do you already know about literacy? And what would you like to learn about literacy in your child? So it really helps to gain more from the participants. But you'll see here on each slide, again, we provide an expected time frame to share with families, just that certain topic. So you'll see here we have these designated with activities, just some ideas how to practice the activity, as well as questions to reflect and debrief, and then also just a summary as well. So as we're going through each of the slides here, you'll see that we also talk about language and communicating the practice within literacy as well. You'll see that we have videos that are also embedded that you can show at that time within your PowerPoint as well. We go into the topic of books and reading, and just sharing as to, for example, why do you think playing with books this way is important? And again, just gaining that feedback and that knowledge from your families. Now, as we continue to talk about literacy skills and thinking about drawing on families' own experiences and families' own memories, we'll be tying in Ready Rosie videos activities to support acknowledging this topic. And it gives families another great way to be able to share how they've incorporated certain learning activities, at home as well. Just thinking about literacy and thinking about concepts. And I had the opportunity to provide this parent training with families as well. I was able to share that as a child when I traveled to my grandparents' house. It was about 2 hours away. One of the games my family and my siblings used to play is we used to designate a color of a car. And what we do is we would count the amount of cars that went by on that certain color. So just providing those types of examples really supported families to share what their childhood games were. And just to be able to share, whether it be story conversations, book conversations, as well as just literacy games that were played in the car as well. So here's some more ideas on storytelling and reading and writing. And then when we come to the middle of this parent workshop here, you're going to see on slide 11 is when we start talking about the beginning stages of writing and what children need to learn to be able to eventually get to that point of being able to write their names successfully as they get ready to transition to kindergarten. So there's an example here that we provide within the workshop where we ask participants to take a pencil and a paper and to write with their non-dominant writing hand. And that surely does give families the opportunity to see what a struggle that may be for someone who's just learning how to write their name. And so here you'll see within the next couple of slides, we go into detail about each stage that it takes place. There's 6 slides that will eventually start with working within fine motor skills and teaching children how to write and how to cut with scissors, all the way to mastering that stage of being able to write their name. On slide 18 here, we go into more about Ready Rosie and how to use the app and how to be able to find activities to support those types of skills. And then you're going to see closure here with just a wrap up, and then the opportunity, as well as I shared, for you to be able to share your own community resources. Now, with every workshop, we do have an extension. So if you have a little bit more time with families, you'll see that additional questions, additional activities to be able to share this topic with families. Now, after every workshop, we also have a video addendum. And so if by chance you're using our playlist feature within Ready Rosie and you'd like to share an upcoming family workshop, we've got videos here that you can share with families to highlight and to be able to share with families not only the upcoming topic, but to also be able to share some examples as well. So just by reviewing this workshop with helping to create a literacy-rich home, do you see this workshop to be of support to your own families that you work with? Any type of comments that you would like to share, or anything in particular that stands out just with what I shared so far about this particular workshop? Jessie?
really love the idea of putting just something so simple of having the parents use their non-dominant hand, and just that light bulb idea to go off in their head that, yeah, it's kind of unrealistic now because I can't do it. Why am I expecting my baby to do it? So
Right.
I love that layering.
Yes, yes. And again, it's just you'll see the aha moment within families as you're providing this as an activity. As all of our family workshops have hands-on activities to be able to just share with families within each of these topics here. Now, although I did go over one of our workshops that's about an hour's worth of content, know that because they have separate themes within each of our workshops. These are customizable, where if you only had, let's say you had 15 minutes, you could certainly customize these to provide these in a 4-part series with families if you'd like as well. So I see these very successful with programs providing them in these ways, as well as virtually. If you still have the opportunity to provide families a virtual type family workshop experience, these work great as, we're even providing here on Zoom with the PowerPoint ready to go in your facilitator's guide. Now, within each of our workshops, as I shared, we also have 10-minute workshops, again, designed to provide just about 10 minutes of content to provide families some parenting information. But first of all, what I want to share with you, if there's an opportunity to introduce families to Ready Rosie, this is a great 10-minute workshop where you have a PowerPoint, you have your facilitator's guide. Again, it's ready to go, English and Spanish, but it provides you basically a script of how to introduce what Ready Rosie is about, as well as the features that Ready Rosie has. So you'll see the activity, we have questions to ask, as well as transitioning key points. Because this is a 10-minute Give Me 10 workshop, you'll see each of the slides are designed to provide about a minute of discussion within each of the slides. You'll see here that we have various age groups of videos ready to go on the PowerPoint, and slides are very easy to hide if there's just certain age groups that you would like to share with families, as well as how to register for Ready Rosie and what will that invitation look like. And then at the very end, you have your closing here as well. So I like to share this one because sometimes there is that opportunity just to kind of share what Ready Rosie is about, and wanted to let you know you have that 10-minute workshop. As well as we get ready to end the school year here, we've got transition workshops that support getting ready for kindergarten. This is a 10-minute workshop as well that has your PowerPoint, we have facilitator's guide, but within getting ready for kindergarten, our workshop, we really want to focus on sharing with families the importance of sticking with routines and helping children to create routines as they get ready for kindergarten. We have flyers that also support this workshop. This one's available in English and Spanish, but you'll see here that this flyer provides families the opportunity to really learn and to kind of think about some of the skills that children have learned within the school year. And they have the opportunity to jot these down, such as ideas that support cognitive development, social emotional learning, fine motor skills, as well as gross motor skills. On the very back, as well as health, self-care, and routines. But on the very back of this flyer with the workshop and getting ready for kindergarten, what we've done is we've also created this flyer so that families have the opportunity to check the areas that they feel their child is ready now and going on to the next grade level. But they can also circle the areas they'd like to help their child continue to grow. And it's a great way for families to have something that they can take with them as they get ready to meet their child's next teacher, or perhaps if they're going on to kindergarten teacher, just to be able to share how parent and teacher can continue to partner to help their child learn to grow. And so that's also available within this particular workshop. We've got our Ready for Pre-K social toolkit. So we do have programs that use Facebook or Twitter to help to announce family workshops. So we've got some samples there as well. And then we've got flyers also that are ready to be able to share and to post in areas that maybe families frequent most. So it's a great workshop if you are preparing for any type of transition meetings with families. Again, great way for you to provide this type of workshop. As well as you'll see, we also have workshops to support getting ready for preschool. As you get ready to welcome families into the new school year, you'll see again that you have your facilitator's guide, your PowerPoint, an opportunity for families to be able to share what they would like their child to learn on the school year by using our pre-K learning activity packet here. And then you've got flyers as well as again, a toolkit here for you to be able to help to announce your upcoming workshops. So as we take a look at the workshops, have any of you used our workshops this year at all? Okay, all righty then. See, we have a comment in the question and the chat box. I see Penny sharing, this would have been great when I was first trying to introduce the program, will be something to put together for new families. So awesome to hear, Penny, that I was able to share with you this resource today. Yes, it's already ready to go. And as you introduce families to Ready Rosie this year, as you see, you have everything here from your facilitator's guide to your PowerPoint, and you can pace it as you would like. It's about 10 minutes worth of content, but you could certainly pace and provide this information to families. Is there any topics here that you see that would be of interest to your families as I scroll through each of these topics here? Jessie?
Definitely like the positive discipline strategies. I feel like that's always a good one. I love the idea of the give me tens just because I feel so many families don't have the time to give us when they're picking up after school. Everybody's in that rush to get home, pick up other children, start that rigmarole of dinner and all that. And so I when we got into Ready Rosie, the give me tens are very exciting to me. And I think that it would be an easy, just to have it, a 2-hour session for our family engagement specialist, but just to continuously roll through it with families that have that time. So I just love the give me tens.
Oh, that's so awesome to hear. And that was particularly why we created that, knowing that many times you may not have that hour, with families, but 10 minutes, we've seen these successful. If perhaps maybe even there's an individual need with the family and you'd like to say, hey, let's sit down and let's go over some positive discipline strategies. And so you have your PowerPoint, you have your facilitator's guide where you could pull some topics as well. So just become a great resource, not only for parent meetings, but also for individual needs as well. You mentioned family services staff as well that are supporting families. These become great resources as well as perhaps maybe there's goal setting taking place with families, or perhaps again, supporting an individual need. Just a great way, as you've seen, we have activities and we have just suggestions for families that these can also be used as resources as well. I see here, let's see, Penny has shared too, the screen time one is always a hot topic with families. And glad to hear that I've taken another idea about these just being a great one-on-one support as well. I used to work with families that were in a home-based setting where a teacher would go out to the home once a week. And these were just a great resource to provide 10 minutes of parenting education with families as well. Any questions at all that you might have on our family workshops? Okay. Just another quick tip of, again, I incorporated these also in working with families. And what I did is I made my own folders. I had a folder, I created a Ready Rosie sticker, and as families attended my workshops, they had a folder where they could organize all the information that they received from me. So it was just a great way to help families to become organized as well. So again, you're going to find all of our resources under the resources tab here. And just by scrolling to the middle of the page, this is where you're going to see all of our family workshops and our Give Me Tens. So let me go ahead. I would just want to share with you about how the family workshops were created and what we took into account as we were creating each of the workshops. I'm going to go to the next slide here. So just some of the key concepts that you're going to see within the workshops is we call the pre-planned plug and play workshops, because as you see, you've got your PowerPoint ready to go, you've got your facilitator's guide ready to go, everything ready to go in one stop for you to be able to provide a successful and meaningful family workshop. But just some of the key concepts that you're going to see within our workshops are supporting routines and ensuring that families walk away with knowing and understanding the importance of keeping those routines, positive discipline strategies, language development, and modeled through activities, as well as through activities that we provided not only with our modeled moment videos, but activities within our family workshops, talking about those developmental milestones and the importance of play, and then also screen time and digital media. So just some of the theory that's taken place behind creating those workshops is these are some of the resources that we used in the research in putting the creating the family workshop. So we use the Strengthening Families, the 5 protective factors, as well as looking at family assets within the Search Institute. And then also really also looking at the work of Karen Mapp and the dual capacity building framework for family school partnerships. And I just want to put a plug for that book. That is just an amazing book that really provides just some really rich examples of building those family partnerships with families. Also, we take a look at the 6 types of parent involvement and the tips, and which was created by Joyce Epstein. And then also just, again, incorporating all of our modeled moments, having fun activities for families to be able to watch and to be able to see their own funds and knowledge that they could add to our workshops. And then also developmentally appropriate and standard-based practice, as well as taking a look at adult learning principles and the way that families best learn, and incorporating whether it be visual, hands-on, as well as different learning principles as well. So just like to ask you, I know that we talked a little bit about what you think about the family workshops. Is there anything else that you feel that families would enjoy about participating in a workshop like this, or what are your thoughts about families access, or can you share with me, is there any type of maybe challenges that you see in getting families excited or engaged in workshops?
I think for us, it's just ending this pandemic. Our centers, I work with an early Head Start childcare partnership, and we still haven't done any parent engagement events, and this is going on 2 years now. And so I just worry that it might just be hard to get it up and running, to get back into the swing of things, not only for the workers ourselves, but for the site directors and the parents. So I love just the idea of that Give Me 10. And I feel like that's a soft kind of step into kind of getting that engagement up and going again.
Great, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yes, I work with programs in the California area, and they have slowly started moving from virtual to in person, but I know that they provided our family workshops virtually. And just families knowing that there was just going to be a 10-minute segment on parent workshops, I think they felt very supported, as well as having that ability to take away some key concepts with families as well. So, and Penny, I do see your comment about just having the time as well. Totally understand that. But knowing that, hopefully you're walking away with knowing that family workshops can be supported in various ways, such as if you were able to have all families together at one time, or if you had that 10 minutes where you have that opportunity to share with families a parenting topic, very customizable to support what would be taking place with your families. So any questions that I can answer for you about the Ready Rosie platform, the family workshops, any topics that maybe you see that you would like us to add to the platform that maybe we currently don't have?
I don't have anything to add, but I'm curious, Jesse and Penny, have either of you ever utilized the developmental milestones in conjunction with the Ready Rosie videos?
Not yet. We just received our grant for Ready Rosie in November of 2021. And it was just it was just at a bad timing because just the teacher shortages. So we had to close down some classrooms. And so us as the grantee kind of started the Ready Rosie. And so we've just been mostly using it for our remote families just to try to get parents to engage with their children, and we're posting just some reflective questions just so we can get that gold data on them because we're not getting that on them. But yeah, we just really haven't had a lot of success with it, to be honest, just because it's just the way that it was released, and we just didn't really have buy-in from the centers yet. So we're working on that. So I'm hoping that we can move forward to that within this new school year.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of put a plug into that because I do think some of these family workshops, when you're thinking about ages and stages or developmental milestones that you're looking at for those kiddos, and you're kind of tying some of that training back, that it's a great kind of resourceful tool that's also available on there, and to not forget about it, because then when you're trying to have that conversation with parents about ages and stages or developmental milestones, those kinds of things, relating it back to some of those modeled moment videos, I think it could fit really useful into what you can utilize after you do a potential Give Me 10 or a larger family workshop. And if for some reason that comes up out of this training, it's just something to think of, just to know it's there, I guess, is what I want to say.
Yes, and I see Penny also added just some comments in our chat box here that she sees she can see sharing some of these tidbits in your Facebook chat group. So it's a great way for you to be able to share ideas for families. But I also see a challenge here, Penny. You say, I struggle to get parents to watch the videos and to make any comments. I think engaging more with the workshops and Give Me 10s will help them to see the advantages. I also see ways to use these to help improve ASQ scores by giving parents ways to work with their child. Most definitely great examples. And I'd like to add as well that, maybe also perhaps, I'm not sure if you're using the playlist feature, Penny, but as you're creating playlists for your families, whether it be individual or as a group, it's always great also to add in your comments to let families know that you're looking forward to hearing how the activities went, and to ensure to use the comment feature so that hopefully that will also gain some feedback from families as they're utilizing and playing with their children at home.
I was just going to mention, Penny, we've had struggles with that too with our remote families. We have the beauty of having our educational coaches with us with our child care partnership, and what they've been doing is they have been putting those reflections in that message that goes out to the family, and they're kind of giving families the language to use or what to look for. And we've noticed that families are commenting better now because we're kind of giving them the information to look for. So it's just, I've noticed it's been a lot more engaging. Not everybody's doing it, but the families that are commenting, we're getting some enriching information from that.
Yeah, great point. Great point, Jesse. Yeah, and I think sometimes just with the comment, families aren't really sure how to use that. We've seen it worked various ways where some families may say that great activity or fun to do, or sometimes there might even be a question on the activity. But if you can provide families a reflection of something to observe or something to look for and provide that back, that may help you, Penny, to get more comments back. So great. Well, this has just been just a really great half hour with all of you and providing you more information about our family workshops and how you can use them successfully and meaningfully in your programs. This is my contact information. So as you continue to implement Ready Rosie, if there's any questions, feel free to reach out to me and I'd be glad to connect with you individually. But thank you for taking the time today for us to be able to share this information with you. And we're excited that you're continuing to offer Ready Rosie to your families, our model moment videos, as well as our family workshops. Shauna?
I think that's all, Penny. Thank you, or Patty. Thank you so much. Penny, good to see you. Jesse, great to see a new face on one of our trainings. So I hope you guys are able to take away and utilize some of the great information Patty shared. There's so much usefulness on that platform. I feel sometimes it gets underused because we forget to bring back attention to those things. So thank you, Patty, for doing that. I appreciate it.
Yes, yes. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.